Around the Department of Defense this week. This is your DoD Weekly News Recap.
The new Defense Secretary. I'm Navy Petty Officer 2nd Class Ashley Guire. Dr. Mark T. Esper became the 27th Defense Secretary after a 90-8 Senate confirmation vote. Esper became Acting Defense Secretary last month after then Acting Defense Secretary Patrick M. Shanahan stepped down from consideration. President Donald J. Trump formally nominated Esper for the top Pentagon job July 15th, and Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito swore in Esper in the White House.
There's no one more qualified to lead the Department of Defense than Mark Esper, a West Point graduate, great student actually. Secretary Esper served our military for 21 years, including in the Gulf War. He also advanced U.S. national security in government and in private sector, most recently as Secretary of the Army.
With a confirmation hearing complete for the vacant Deputy Defense Secretary position, action by the Senate is expected soon. David L. Norquist has performed the duties of the Deputy Secretary for several months, until President Donald J. Trump formally nominated him for the Pentagon's No. 2 position. Norquist has served in 3 positions at the Pentagon, including service as the Defense Department's Comptroller and Chief Financial Officer.
Over the past 30 years, I've worked at multiple levels of the national security establishment. Each of these positions had a common thread: protecting this nation's security while safeguarding the taxpayers' money. It is a profound responsibility, but I believe in this mission passionately.
Air Force General Terrence J. O'Shaughnessy says the Arctic is a growing concern for national security. As avenues of navigation open in the Arctic region, so do avenues of approach to the United States. O'Shaughnessy, the commander of North American Aerospace Defense Command and NORTHCOM, talked about the two agencies' roles in being prepared for potential threats.
From the national security strategy, it tells us that it is our responsibility to ensure that we protect the American people, defend the homeland, and defend our American way of life.
The U.S. military has been in Afghanistan since 2001, nearly 18 years now, and the war in Iraq lasted 8 years. But despite the risk involved in participating in combat operations, senior enlisted leaders from across the U.S. military say young Americans still want to serve. Command Sergeant Major Christopher S. Kepner, senior enlisted advisor to the National Guard Bureau, says National Guard service members, who make up more than half of all uniformed personnel in the U.S. military, are not overly concerned with having to fight. Instead, he said, they're concerned they might not get a chance to. Many young Americans who are choosing to serve are joining for the same reason people have chosen to serve for decades: honor, duty, discipline, and incentives. That's your DoD News Daily Weekly Recap. I'm Navy Petty Officer 2nd Class Ashley Guire. You can find more stories about your military at defense.gov and by using #KnowYourMil.